Hi everyone, welcome back to Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics. Today we have a hot German hatchback here in the shop, a 2014 VW Golf TDI. And the customer, young kid, he said he bought it on Facebook Marketplace. Interesting. So he said the car ran great for a while. And the complaint is that he can't turn off his parking lights or his LED daytime running lights. You see, the car's off right now and he can't turn the lights off. That was the only customer complaint. So when he got here, he also mentioned that his check engine light came on about the same time. 2 weeks ago, he said his headlights started acting weird, the fog lights stopped working, and he can't shut off these daytime running lights. A few days later, he said the check engine light came on. Okay, and when he pulled it in here, I noticed the cooling fans were running full blast. I mean, full blast all the time. Like, that's kind of weird. So let's do a full health report on this thing, see what's hiding under the hood. I asked him, is there anything aftermarket installed? He said just the low beams. He installed a xenon bulb kit, but that worked fine until all these problems started. So let's take a look at this car. So first thing you want to do, especially when working on European cars with the key on, is hook up a good battery maintainer. So we're using the Topdon Tornado 90,000, 13.5 volts. So right now it's drawing about 2 amps to keep these lights on. Now anything else on back here? It's all blacked out, but I don't see any lights. Let's do a full code scan. So got my favorite ThinkTool Pros. Let's go into Volkswagen, turn the key on. Oh, here you go. They're winding up. Full speed. I mean, I can feel the car vibrating. I don't think those are stock fans, but whatever. So with the key on, the fans are always running. And we're drawing about 25 amps. So that's why you need a battery maintainer. Oh, we have some red modules. So let's finish the scan, take a look at that health report. Alright, so scan is complete. I already saved the health report right here. Oh, Volkswagen. Let's take a look. So, in the engine we have exhaust gas recirculation sensor A circuit low, engine coolant temperature sensor 2 circuit high, NOx catalytic converter regeneration required, that's not good. Exhaust pressure control valve position sensor switch circuit range performance. Okay, don't care about tire pressure, door motor. Central electric, we have a crap ton of codes, 17 codes. Daytime running, lamp bulb, left DRL, both right low and high beam bulbs. Left brake light bulb, right daytime running bulb, left fog light bulb, parking light bulb, basically all the bulbs. Now, bulbs that are controlled by modules will set codes if the bulbs are not stock. As in, if you put in an LED bulb, they won't draw as much current and the module will think the bulb is burned out. So for example, the brake light bulbs, if I push the brake, yeah, you know they're aftermarket LED garbage, so no wonder. Now what about the headlights? So lights on, there's high beam, fog lights indeed do not work, even though the little indicator says that they should be on. Fog lights are not on. Okay, Let's do a quick visual inspection under the hood because of aftermarket stuff. The cooling fans are going full blast. Something's really wrong here. Well, here are the cooling fans, and what do you see right here? What the heck? Oh, dang. Can you see that? Let me shut this thing off. Oh, what a disaster. Coming in for a landing. Oh boy, this is not good. That fan has obviously been rubbing on the harness, and that brown dust, that's copper. You can see copper strands right there coming right out of the harness. Wow. And same thing on the edge of the fan. I'm sure a few wires have been compromised right there. That is definitely not good. We see some zip ties. Oh, what a mess. So I sent the customer a few messages and asked them, hey, did you know, like, what's the history here? I know he bought the car and it was fine, and then did all these problems happen at the same time? He said approximately yes. So I sent him a picture of the harness being sliced by the fan, and I'm like, did you know this was going on? And he was like, no, I had no idea. But he said he knew the problem, why the check engine light was on. So I'm like, okay, let's start with what we know is broken. I quoted him 2 hours for harness repair, and we'll try to get the cooling fans moved over. I mean, I'm sure this thing is some kind of salvage rebuild. You can see the hood is made in Taiwan. Maybe the whole front end was smashed in. Like, if the fans are aftermarket and the whole thing's moved over, they're rubbing in the original harness. So let's take the fans out, or disable them, unplug them, fix up the harness. We'll clear all the codes out, and then see if the headlights come back to life. I told him, let's start with the harness repair before we go deep into this diagnostics, because we still might end up at, back at this damaged harness. He said he approved that. So after the harness repair, if we still have a problem with the headlights, we'll tackle the original customer complaint. But this is right now is kind of urgent. Alright, I got the silly cold air intake removed. Gives us some nice working room. So here's part of the problem. Yeah, right into the harness, like a chainsaw. Copper exposed everywhere, and here, wow, that's shorting those wires right together. So let's pull this harness up out of the way where we can work on it and see what the carnage is. See if that's related to the headlights. So I got the headlights unplugged. Well, here's problem number 2. So I cut off this zip tie, and as you can see, this harness is supposed to be attached up here. And there's a piece broken, and obviously it's not attached anymore. Carnage. Destruction. Alright, so I got the harness opened up at the damaged spots. So, assessment of the situation. Here we have 2 wires that are completely broken. This fat red and purple. This little brown, that's a twisted pair with the yellow. The yellow is still okay. And then we have 3 wires that are showing copper but are still sound. So those you can wrap in electrical tape to isolate them. And then these 2 will have to solder an extension, because it probably won't reach if just try to stretch it out like that. Second damaged spot, we have 1 skinny wire that's completely broken, purple with a green. And then this wire is almost broken, the fat red and purple. And this wire, we got 3 compromised wires that are salvageable. So let me do these repairs and we'll see what comes back to life. So we're moving right along with the harness repair. Got some of the wires that were just a little shaved, isolated with electrical tape. We're going to solder 1 and 2 wires here, and then these 2 wires over here. So in a situation like this, you tell me how you're going to fit a butt connector in there. No way, no how. You need a fine soldering iron, like a pencil type. This one runs off a battery, TS100, my favorite thing ever. So take a little spool of solder. I'm going to reach it down in here. Melt that on. I've got a piece of shrink wrap. So we'll wrap this spot first, and then we'll take care of this spot. Like I said, at least 50% of the repairs that I do in the field, in terms of wiring, butt connectors would just not work simply because you can't get to the spot to put a butt connector on there. Sometimes it's an easy spot, but most of the time it's really hard to reach. So soldering is absolutely crucial to good wiring harness repairs. Alright, here's a final shot of this spot. All the wires are repaired. I have to extend this one wire. And let's wrap it up. I relocated this coolant hose that goes to some kind of cooler over there, so it won't push down on the harness and pop it out of its little bracket. We'll install some zip ties. I don't want any interference between the fans and this harness. Alright, so everything's hooked back up. Obviously the lights are still on, as expected, but with the key on, the cooling fans are not running anymore. That's a good thing. So we'll do a full code scan, clear everything out, and see what's going on with our headlights. Alright, clear all the DTCs. One code left in there. Probably that needs a regen. Let's see here. Yep, regeneration required. Perfect. So let's turn the key off. Fog lights still don't work. Make sure his turn signals work. Okay. Oh, fancy pants. This must be the high-end model. Parking lights work, turn signals work. Okay. Press the brake pedal. Alright, now let's scan our central electronics module for codes. Left daytime running lamp bulb, right brake light bulb, left brake light bulb. That's it. Alright, so I got some data PIDs pulled up. So when I turn the fog lights on, that says on, and look, it says left fog lamp, right fog lamp, 100%. 100% duty cycle. And they're definitely LEDs. Let's put a regular test light in there and see if those work. Well, there's my test light, and it's definitely lit when I turn the fog lights on. So check it out. Left fog lamp, 90%. Right fog lamp, 99%. It's this garbage bullshit aftermarket lighting. I'm sure this all happened at the same time, right? So I unplugged this garbage. It's an adapter, that, and this LED bulb, which I'm just tempted to rip out of here and put in the OEM. There's your problem. So 1 amp test light works perfectly. Let's see what bulbs this thing needs stock, and I'm sure that's the same story over there. Rip that out, fix his fog lights, and then see why his daytime running lights are staying on. Well, fog lights fixed. Just put a pair of OEM 9006 bulbs. Alright, that's one of the customer complaints. Now let's figure out these daytime running lights. Alright, so Volkswagen Golf, let's address the original customer complaint. Daytime running lights staying on. So first thing, let's get a known wiring diagram for this vehicle. Now Volkswagens can be a pain. They have different options, dozens of different diagrams for the same system, like headlight system. I basically looked at the car, the connectors, and made sure there's 6 wires per connector at each headlight and a 10-pin socket. So this right here is the correct diagram. So it's a standard equipment USA from November 2011. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and let's see where, yeah, 6 wires. So connector T10I, T10I is for the left headlight, and symmetrical T10J is for the right headlight. And you'll see that these are the different bulbs in the headlight assembly, and they're controlled by J1519, which is the vehicle electrical system control module. Yes, and we have to go by numbers. We're worried about the L174 left daytime running lamp bulb and L175 right daytime running lamp bulb. So I have those highlighted. Those are fed by this blue and yellow, I guess, blue and yellow wire for the left and a blue and green wire for the right. So right now the headlights are unplugged completely. It was sitting here overnight. Let's put a test light on there and see if we have, if this circuit is alive right now, if it can light a test light. Alright, starting with the left headlight, I have my test light connected from the blue and yellow to the brown. You can see right here, blue and yellow and brown, and it's lit up. Okay, that's not correct. That should not, this wire should not have voltage on it. I also noticed something interesting. So according to the pinouts, this wire should be on pin 4 of the connector. And the pins are labeled. And what do you see? It's on pin 1, and pin 4 has like a clean blank block off. All the other wires match up to the OE diagram. So what the heck? Did someone have to relocate the DRL light from pin 4 into pin 1 for these aftermarket headlights? That's kind of interesting. Definitely a variable. And I looked on this one, on the right one, and sure enough, we're also in pin 1 instead of pin 4 for the DRL. All the other 5 wires match up to the OEM diagram. So we'll keep that in mind, but let's put a test light on the right side headlight too, and it'll also be hot, I'm sure. So let's see here. There's the brown. Yep, there it is, lit up. So those 2 wires are hot. Now my question is, what is going on? How is there voltage on those two wires. They're coming from the central electric module, and on scan data we saw that the command was 0%, but the other data pid said it was on. That doesn't make any sense to me. We have to go to this module and check these wires there. So the central electric module is located right here, right above this relay box, and the connectors right down here. So you see a brown, a white, and a black connector. So according to the diagram, T52A is the black connector and T52C is the brown connector. So I'm just going to try unplugging the black connector, and the headlights right now, I plugged them in, the daytime running lights are on. I just want to see what happens when we unplug the black connector. Will that headlight turn off? And okay. Okay, the right one is still lit. The left one is out. So the current is definitely going from this connector to that headlight. There's no short to power somewhere along the line. Okay. Let's plug this one back in. Unplug the brown one. Now the left one's staying lit, the right one is out. So what gives? Why does that module have power on those pins when it's not supposed to? You know, are we ready to call a bad module for this problem? Well, there's no short to power in those wires. The module is just keeping them on. It's like the power MOSFET or whatever, and they're stuck in the on state, and it can see that, but even when it tries to turn it off, it can't. That kind of sucks. And why did this happen? Well, potentially because all the aftermarket garbage, the non-OE wiring, you know, why did they move the pin from pin 1 to pin, or from pin 4 to pin 1? But we have to give the customer a detailed diagnosis and then estimate for repairs. You know, what's the estimate for repairs? Restore everything to stock and replace your central electric module. I guess that's one way to fix it. We can locate that wire on those connectors because all the other lights work. It's just these daytime running lights. If the car is already hacked, can we attach that daytime running light circuit to some ignition power so they just turn on when your key is on? We could do that, but we have to run it by the customer. Whatever the customer wants, that's the way, you know, we're gonna fix it. So let's locate that wire. I guess we can de-pin it or snip it or whatever, just to, you know, that circuit should not be on. Now my question is there a parasitic draw if that module is keeping the daytime running lights energized? We also have to measure that. To maybe unplug the headlights and measure the parasitic draw. If it's fine, then we can go ahead with, you know, some bypass, whatever, wiring modification. But if he has a parasitic draw due to a failing central electric module, then it'll have to be replaced anyways. So kind of a couple variables there. Alright, let's do a current draw measurement on the blue and green wire that goes to the right side daytime running lights. So I have the headlight unplugged. Let's re-zero the meter, plug the headlight in, okay, that's on. And we have 0.8 amps running through our meter to the headlamp. Okay, now what I want to do is unplug both headlights and put this car to sleep, and put an in-series ammeter on there and see what the parasitic draw is. Well, it's been about 10 minutes. We're down to 21 milliamps. I'm happy with that. Plug in the headlight. It's about half an amp additional there. Another half an amp. Interesting, 1.5. Unplug this one. 0.7. Unplug this one. Oh, down to 11. Wonder why it dropped from 20 to 11. Still, a new central electric module fixes problem. Maybe for a while. But are these lights drawing a little too much current? I mean, they're supposed to be just, you know, LEDs, not too bright. And if they draw over half an amp, maybe that cooked the central electric module, the driver in there, perhaps. So that wouldn't be a complete repair. A complete repair would be restoring everything to stock. I mean, stock headlights, replace the central electric module, or we can find somewhere just to tie those DRL feeds to an ignition power. That way the lights will just come on when the key's on. The owner might want to do that since the car is already modified, and we'll run that by him. Well, I gave the customer a call and told him the findings, what we did. So this was over 4 hours of diagnostics and repair for the engine harness, the cooling fans, all the lighting stuff. He was like, "Holy crap, that's adding up pretty quick." I'm like, it's a modified Facebook Marketplace Volkswagen. Kind of what do you expect? So he said, "We're good for now. Leave the lights as is." I'll show him which wires. He can probably cut them if he wants his daytime running lights disabled. Wire them in later. So that's it for this one. Maybe for bonus footage, we'll take it for a spin, see if that regen cycle completes. But it is what it is. So thanks all for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Alright, so we got a little DPF warning sign there. Obviously, it hasn't run the regeneration yet, but let's see if it does. See how this thing drives. It's a fun little hatchback. We'll turn on our lights. Take it around the block, see if it runs the regen cycle. The owner says he's just going to pick it up, so we'll leave it at that. So I'm just cruising here. RPMs are a little over 2,000, and you can see by the exhaust gas temperature sensors that downstream we're higher than the upstream, so it's definitely doing the regen cycle as we drive. This is the factory recommended procedure. Drive for 15 minutes at this engine speed. So we'll see if that warning light turns off, or if he drove too far with the DPF clogged up.